Hi, I'm Claudio, and I'm here to talk about digital armor and encryption, but I'm not going to go on a technical level. I'm going to go more on a why do we need this level? Why is it so important, the encryption methods? Long ago, there was big thinkers that said things like, I think there is a world market for maybe like 5 computers. And this was actually the president of IBM long days ago. And other people that said very interesting things trying to predict the future when actually the future is very hard to predict. The future is something that we actually have to live it and we have to create it by new technologies and so on. I am a long conference giver and a lot of public spaces, while like ISACA, Cybercamp and so on, recently UBOCon Portugal as well, because I'm a lot on the tech side doing hacking, forensics and so on. I'm also chief security envoy at Telefónica 11 Pats, owner at DLT Code.es, which is a new company that we're building here in Barcelona. Nothing to do with Telefónica and so on. It's more like associations of friends that we are working a lot with these technologies and we want to bring it and make it easier for any kind of business to put it into their day-to-day life and into their own business. And also, thanks to Josep Jover that is here today, I'm also part of a couple of lobbies, one with the Catalan Parliament and the other one with the EU Parliament, thanks to Aspertic and our small lobby. So what is information security? Well, basically information security is not only about computers, it's not only about technology, it's about that asset that we call security. Okay? It's about any information or any system that can have any type of information that is vital or not, or even if we don't think about it's vital, but we have to protect it anyway because of the legal issues and so on. Okay. So, but why do we have to protect this? And why is this so important? Well, basically because we have a very big change. We all know how light bulbs work, okay? It's a very simple, very simple concept. But nowadays, a light bulb is very different. Like everything else that is changing very fast in our life, and very fast thanks to technology, and a smart light bulb actually looks like this. I can invite you to actually find the light bulb in that image. Okay, well, it's actually down here. So all this brings a lot of concerns, like who is governing all this information? Where does it go? What does it happen with all of this? One of the small bulbs companies, thanks to the GDPR, from one day to another, closed their service and left everybody without access to their own light bulbs in their own homes. They actually had to change the light bulbs. There are a lot of concerns thanks to this, but actually what I want to explain with this is that the same as with the light bulb, that we changed from the light bulb to a smart light bulb, which has all this, everything else and all the technology, same as governments, changed the same way. It's not just one person that we choose, it's not just one institution that we trust. There's a lot behind it, a lot more than before. It can look like this, or it can be hundreds of times bigger than this, depending on the organization, depending on their structure, and so on. And it's very important to protect all these assets, because the information right now is the most valuable asset. If you've seen now sovereign identity, it's one of the most important parts of everybody's speech. And I think it was today or tomorrow, I'm not really sure, that there's a gathering on Twitter and Telegram that is going to ask all the new politicians to put blockchain in their speech and in their political program. It's in the news right now, and I think it's a very important movement. There was about 4 billion exposed records in the first 6 months of 2019. 4 billions. And we say, well, that's not much. That's not much. That's not much because 8 big companies lost most of this data. Well, it's not actually true. From this 4.1 million, 3.4 approximately, 3.2 actually, the numbers here, were actually lost by 8 big companies. All the rest was lost by small companies, e-commerce, sometimes city halls, Very recently, it was the, how do you call it in English? The Correos of Spain also lost a large database of their customers. Some of us received SMS phishing with our actual name and number in the SMS, and it's a very big issue. And most of the people think that because their business is small, they wrongly assume that no one cares about the information that they have, when in reality it's a very different thing. These things brings a lot of concerns. Data theft and data loss. It's one thing that they steal the data from you, and you don't know it until it's too late. And the other thing is that you lose the data. If you've seen the latest ransomware attacks where companies are stopped, it's in the news daily. Right now they're talking about a company in Germany that yesterday had to close their facilities and all their operation because of ransomware attack as well. That is data loss. And that data loss can mean that you lose all the information, everything you did, all in the last years. I have an actual case that I'm participating in as an incident responder, that it's a company from Bilbao that lost all the accounting for the last 9 years. 9 years. 9 years of a big industrial company. That's a very big issue. Also, that comes with lawsuits, loss of reputation, and financial loss. And I'm going to get a little bit into the number of that, because there are actual very good studies that describe these things. They say that the indirect cost per breach for each record that says the name of a person, telephone number, where do they work in the organization, right now costs the company 145 euros. Where direct costs, which means that someone steals the data that we keep for another person, and they steal it from us, we have to give them a service that it's for credit reasons and so on, for financial reasons, that they watch their data and see if someone tried to use their data to steal or to ask for a credit and so on, identity theft. And we have to provide that service to the people that actually suffered from that data theft. That brings a bigger financial loss. Equifax, if you remember the big data breach, they are still paying for it, and they are still paying a lot of money. Well, first solution for all that, it's encryption. Encryption, it's a very important part of our lives. As Snowden worked, it works. It works properly. Endpoint security, which usually means either our computer or the phone that we use, is not the same thing. And most agencies, it's really easy for them to access our systems because of many reasons. And the other side is the general interest. Since forever, the only interest in a good crypto system from a government is the one that it's in its own power and its own interest. And that is starting to change as well. That changes with blockchain. Blockchains offer encryption and validation. Blockchain changes the way that we are working right now with the administration, changes the way that we are validating, the way that we are voting, and it offers a very innovative approach to storing information. So all these things that I mentioned don't happen to our business, and we don't incur in this data loss. This is comparable to an industrial project where we don't think about data security, we don't think operational security, and we just put together a power plant that is going to work and everything is perfect. And when we realize that our plant is not protected and we try to input security into it, it's going to cost us the same amount that the company costed us because we have to rebuild all the project. By the contrary, if we put security in a project since its beginning, the whole thing changes. The estimate is that it's about 60 to 70 euros to start a project with security than not starting with security. And if you implement security after everything was done, if the cost of the plant was 2 million, it's going to cost you another 2 million to put security in it. Blockchain changes all that, and starting new administrations, starting new ways of storing information, distributing, putting security and encryption, in the end, is going to save money to all of us. In the long run, it's going to help us to have more secure institutions. It's going to help us to reduce fraud. It's going to help us in our day-to-day life, the way we communicate and interact with each other, because we're going to have a lot more confidence in the person we have before us and talking to us. We can validate basically everything instantly, and we can put privacy into it. It doesn't mean that we're going to invade anyone's privacy, because in order to do that, we can put an infinite numbers of layers of security. The only thing that we have to do is actually do it right. Encryption by itself, it has been with us since ancient history. I think most of us know the history of encryption, and blockchain right now and DLT technologies are just a natural evolution of all this technology and encryption. It's technology-wise, but it's actually a natural evolution. It is the next step to make our life safer, to make our information and data safer. And, well, basically, it moved in the line, but our new office is here in Barcelona. We are happy, very happy with it. But I want to make a point. As I said in the beginning, the future is not something to be predicted. It's something to be achieved. Blockchain being the natural evolution of all our crypto systems and the way we store information and we secure it, doesn't mean that we have to let someone else do it. It means that all of us have to be involved. We all have to bring our politicians, our lobbies, the people that are involved in this, forums, and so on. Try to build an organization that actually governs all this, the same way we govern internet directly and indirectly. Not a centralized organization and so on, but someone that says, hey, let's build a standard. Let's have this minimum security. Let's have these minimum requirements for each new crypto systems that comes into the market. That is going to help us a lot. And in that part, it's all our duty to participate. Okay. We all don't know the numbers. This is actually the market numbers predicted by Gartner and the numbers predicted by Transparency Market Research. Nobody knows what the actual future is going to bring. As I said, the future, we have to live it, and we have to build it, and we have to participate in it. And the more we're going to participate in it, or less we're going to participate in it, is going to be more closer to that number or the other number. I think it's in all our interest to bring together new markets, new democratization in terms of technology. It is very important to understand the democratization of technology, which allows us to enjoy and use for our own benefit technologies that before was only accessible to very few. I mean, in the old days, we used to have mainframes that only banks would be able to use. But now with cloud computing, everybody can use a mainframe, can rent a very small part and use it for their own benefit. With blockchain, it has to be the same. It has to be something that let us all decide on how that blockchain it grows, and at the same time we need that participating body that influences that blockchain and DLT technologies are built in a right way. Because if we don't do that, we'll always have the same issues: regulation, volatility, scalability, and the user experience, which is going to be always the most important part in all this. We're never going to let us deploy correctly these technologies. I call user experience the last mile. You can have everything done, technology correct, legally correct, regulation. You can make it less volatile with the values and so on. You can make it a lot more scalable. But if you don't have a good user experience, that last mile is going to be impossible to make blockchain and DLT something that everybody is going to use in their day-to-day life. Okay. One of the things that I like most about, because I come more from forensic background, it's forensic readiness. Thanks to blockchain and DLT technologies, we have the opportunity and we have the technology to have oral information, oral logs, oral access, and so on in the same place and a language that everybody understands. So each time we have an incident, we can actually say, take a look here, look who's got inside, look if my insurance will cover this, if it's not going to cover this, if it was an inside job, if it was an outside job, it's going to help us be more ready in any incident and also preventing a lot of incidents. Because implementing forensic readiness gives us a database of information regarding current attacks and so on, which we can use for data mining and with machine learning know exactly when data that is going outside of our company, it's actually data that is being stolen. So it's a very important part. And at the same time, forensic readiness help us and help our company be a lot more compliant. Blockchain is fundamental on this side. Same as encryption, forensic readiness is going to help us be compliant in all levels of regulation and technology in whichever country we want to operate. And that's all.